In this video, I want to follow up on our IPO markets. And of course, we've got Beyond Meat in here. We got Lyft. We got Pins, which is Pinterest. And we got Uber. And we got Zoom. Zoom is the one market that we have not yet entered. We do have positions in all the rest of them. As you can see, just by looking over here on the right-hand side very quickly, we're up pretty good with Beyond Meat. That's doing us the best right now. We're up $4,200 on that one. Each one of these we have a $5,000 investment in. Lyft, we're up 360. It moved a little bit for us today. Pins, we're down 195, and Uber, we're up 314. Now, some of these are options, and of course, Uber doesn't have options, and so it is just a $5,000 investment in shares. So let's pull all these up and take a look at them individually. And this is the 5-minute market on Uber. The street was a little bit disappointed with the failure of Uber to take right off, right out of the gate. But as we talked last time, I wasn't that surprised because the market was actually in a downtrend during that time frame. If we remember looking at the overall stock market, and if we slide that in here, you can see this is the S&P 500. It was moving down, and unfortunately for these IPOs, they came out at a time when the market was falling. And so it's not like you can expect an IPO to jump and run really hard when the market's having a big pullback or a big downtrend. That said, the market is starting to rally again today. See that? We're looking like we're getting the little bottoming pattern in here. So I don't know if there's going to be an ABC, and we're going to see this market continue down to the downside. If you're bearish on this economy and bearish on the market, you might feel like the market's on its way down, make maybe a little ABC pattern, and then down here at the Fibonacci projection down into the sweet spot down here. That would bring us back to a 50% level of this last major move. Now, I'm not that bearish on the market. I was very much anticipating this pullback. We took some short positions, some put options on the S&P, as we talked about in a different video. But this market's starting to rally again. I'm of the opinion that the fundamentals of this market are really strong, and this is just going to be one of those situations where we're going to start going back into accumulation mode once again, and we're going to slowly see another rise like we've been seeing over the last 4 or 5 months. All right? So that's my opinion. So right now, this is why I believe that stocks are starting to rally. We've done quite well with some of our other stocks, traditional stocks we got in here. You can see we got the Qs and Apple and SPY and Amazon and some of those, and we're doing quite well. We're also doing quite well as the IPOs start to rally. So again, this is Uber coming in here. We took our long position with Uber, $5,000. We're up $320 at this point. I've got to stop here at break even. If Uber does come back down, and I'm not going to take a loss. I'm not going to allow this any drawdown. That's my game plan when I talk about IPOs. IPOs oftentimes have a tendency to go for 6, 8, 9 months, a year, sometimes down into the negative below their IPO. So I'm not willing to sit through that. So if the market starts to rally, breaks above my entry point, great, I'll stick with it. I'm going to stay with these markets for the long haul, as long as I can possibly justify staying in there for now. But if it starts to fall below my break even, I'm out. I yank the pull cord. I can always get back in. I pull the cord, pull the rip cord. We're out of there. So let's come and look at Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat, this one here is started to rally nicely. We've got calls on here. We got $5,000 investment. We're already up 84% on our calls. So we're doing really well, up $4,200 on Beyond Meat as it started to rally. So we've got 93 days left in these options. We're doing well here. If we come and do a Lyft, Lyft, we picked up an option, and the market rallied nicely today. Picking up. I'm not real bullish on Lyft because of this little downside thing here. We got the bulls and bears pointing down. We got a little bit of a rally. I was just playing off this bottom point and the turning point off of the stochastics indicator, which is pretty limited on its information for us, just because we have such a small amount of information. But nonetheless, just looking for the rally on Lyft because of the rally in Uber. So we put our position in there. Again, it's an option. We got 65 days left on it. We put $2,500 in there. Relatively conservative, not the $5,000 we put in other markets. So that's where we're at. We're up 420. Again, I'm not going to take a big loss on this. If this thing turns around and starts to fall against me, I'm just going to get right back out and liquidate that position. I'll probably draw a horizontal line across here, and that's where I'll get out of this market if it comes down and starts breaking down into this region and looking like it's going to continue lower. We're done. Put a fork in it, and we'll wait for another opportunity. As we come in here, we're going to look at pins. Pins just dropped on us today, so I'm a little disappointed in pins. Pinterest is one of my favorites. I like Pinterest. Pinterest is one of the markets that I rave about. I think it's another Facebook. I think it's another type Google company. And with the market rallying today and it's still falling, that's concerning to me. So I'm, basically drawing my little line in the sand here. I'm not going to take a big loss. Again, I'm not going to allow these things to go against me and take big drawdowns. So if this thing can't maintain, up in this region here, if it doesn't make any kind of positive move for me over the next day or two, we're going to liquidate this thing and we'll wait for a better opportunity to get back into pins. So it's just an entry exit strategy at this point, not wanting to take a big risk on an IPO, but also not wanting to miss out on an opportunity of something that might rise big. And this is one of those that I've really got my eye on and I'm really looking forward to. Zoom is the one that we haven't put any money into. It's up big today. If we would have got in yesterday or a couple of days ago, we'd have probably been okay on this one. But we haven't broken that blue light system. As you see in here, the blue light coming in there is kind of an entry trigger for us. With the market rallying today, this market rallied a little. Again, we need to get some big players coming in here and buying up some of this stock and putting it into their portfolios for mutual funds and stock funds and stuff like that to get some bigger movement out of this. But Zoom, as you can see from the IPO, has just continued to slowly trail up. If we'd have put it in on the day of the IPO, which is something I don't like to do, we'd have been in good shape right here. The thing about Zoom is there are options, and that's one of the things I like. That if there's options on a market, I'm more interested in trading it out of the IPO than I am markets that don't have options. So there's how we sit with our IPO portfolio, and looking forward to seeing some of these markets take off. And we're continuing to do some research into some other IPOs, and I'll let you know how that goes and which ones we want to add to our portfolio at this point. All right, guys, take care.